ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। रीडिंग फ्रॉम श्रीमद् भागवतम by his divine grace AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 23, Maharaj Prithu's Going Back to Godhead. So we are in the section text 1 to 18, where we are discussing various austerities of Maharaj Prithu, and the subsection is text 4 to 8, Prithu Maharaj's austerities and the purpose and result of such austerities. Text 6. ग्रीष्मे पञ्चतपा वीरो वीरवर्षासु आशार्षाट्मुनि आकण्ठमग्नशिशिरे उदके खण्डिलेशयः. Translation.
Following the principles of forest living and the footsteps of the great sages and munis, Prithu Maharaj accepted 5 kinds of heating processes during the summer season. He exposed himself to torrents of rain in the rainy season and in the winter stood in water up to his neck. He also used to simply lie down on the floor to sleep. Purport. These are some of the austerities executed by the Gyanis and Yogis, the process of Bhakti Yoga. They must undergo such severe types of austerity in order to become purified from material contamination. Panchatapaha refers to the 5 kinds of heating processes. One is enjoined to sit within a circle of fire with flames blazing from 4 sides and the sun blazing directly overhead. This is one kind of Panchatapaha recommended for austerity. Similarly, in the rainy season, one is enjoined to expose himself to torrents of rain and in winter to sit in cold water up to the neck. As far as the bedding is concerned, the ascetic should be content with simply lying on the floor. The purpose of for undergoing such severe austerities is to become a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, as explained in the next verse. Hare Krishna.
These are the descriptions of the various austerities. Grishme Panchatapa Viru. We practice the Panchatapa, and in the Grishma Rutu, in the summer season, we will sit in a blazing fire, inside the blazing fire, and in the winter, he would sit in the cold water up to the neck. The bedding is in the rainy season, he will expose himself to the excessive rains, and bathing is considered, he will simply lie down on the floor. So the Prabhupada writes in the purport that the purpose of undergoing such severe austerity is to become devotee of the Supreme Lord. Right? Generally, these austerities are conducted by Gyanis and the Yogis. However, here Maharaj Prithu, just to set an ideal example, he is also performing all these austerities. But for a devotee, path is quite simple. That is Susukham Kartum Abhyayam. Right? Chanting, dancing, feasting is our path, and not offending the Vaishnavas. Text 7. तितिक्षुयर्वाक्दान्त ऊर्ध्वरेताजितानिरः आर्यराधयिषु कृष्णम् अचरत्तपोत्तमम्. Translation.
Translation: Maharaj Prithu underwent all these severe austerities in order to control his words and his senses, to refrain from discharging his semen, and to control the life air, and to control the life air within his body. All this he did for the satisfaction of Krishna. He had no other purpose. Purport: in Kali Yuga, the following is recommended: Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Namaiva Kevalam, Kalo Nasti Iva, Nasti Iva, Gatir Anyat. Brahman Naradya Purana. In order to be recognized by Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one should chant the holy name of the Lord continuously 24 hours a day. Unfortunate persons who cannot accept this formula prefer to execute some type of pseudo meditation without accepting the other process of austerity. The fact is, however, that one must accept either the severe method of austerity described above to become purified, or to take to the process of devotional service recommended for pleasing the Supreme Lord Krishna. The person who is Krishna conscious is most intelligent, because in Kali Yuga it is not at all possible to undergo such severe austerities. We need only follow great personalities like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In his Shikshastaka, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wrote, Param Vijyate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. All glories to the holy names of Lord Krishna, which from the very beginning purify the heart and immediately liberate one. Bhava Mahadavagagni Nirvapanam. If the real purpose of all yoga is to please Lord Krishna, then this simple bhakti yoga system recommended for this age is sufficient. It is necessary, however, to engage constantly in the service of the Lord. Although Prithu Maharaj executed his austerities long before the appearance of Lord Krishna on this planet, his purpose was still to please Krishna. There are many fools who claim that worship of Krishna began only about 5,000 years ago after the appearance of Lord Krishna in India, but this is not a fact. Prithu Maharaj worshipped Krishna millions of years ago, for Prithu happened to be a descendant of the family of Maharaj Dhruv, who reigned for 36,000 years during the Satya Yuga age. Unless his total lifespan was 100,000 years, how could Dhruv Maharaj reign over the world for 36,000 years? The point is that Krishna worship existed at the beginning of creation and has continued to exist throughout Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Dwapar Yuga, and now it is continuing in Kali Yuga. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna appears not only in this millennium of Brahma's life, but in every millennium. Therefore, worship of Krishna is conducted in all millenniums. It is not that Krishna worship began only when Krishna appeared on this planet 5,000 years ago. This is a foolish conclusion that is not substantiated by Vedic literature.
Yeah,
Also,
so it's a big purport.
Yes,
Maharaj Prithu underwent all severe austerities to control his words and senses. Okay, both words and senses. Controlling the words also. To refrain from discharging the virya and control the life air within the body. And all this he did for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Krishnam acharan tapam uttamam. For whom? Krishnam. This uttama tapa, he became Jitanilah, he became Urdhvaretasah. Right. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that he performed this for the satisfaction of Krishna and for no other purpose. No other purpose means not for weight loss or not for some yoga siddhi, not like that, right? So whenever we are performing austerity, it is very important that at least we shouldn't speak like that, yes, of course, yeah, out of humility, a devotee may say something, but the mood inside should not be that, yeah, I'm doing Ekadashi so that I can lose my weight. Okay, that is not a many times devotee may say this out of their humility or just to just downplay their austerities, but we should understand that they are speaking out of humility. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that Kali Yuga, what is recommended is not the austerities, but Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama Iva Kevalam. Kalau Nastaiva 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 Gatiranyatha. Three times positive, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama. One asserting eva, exclusivity kevalam, five times हो गया. Kalau in Kali Yuga, nastaiva, there is no other way, nastaiva, no other way, nastaiva, no other way, gatiranyatha. To obtain the gati in Kali Yuga, there is only one way, and this is 8 times being ascertained here in this verse. This is from Brihan Naradiya Puran. Prabhupada writes here, in order to be recognized by the Supreme Lord Krishna, one should chant Lord's name continuously, 24 hours a day, Satatam Kirtayantoma. Or at least one should chant, the prescribed number of rounds. 16 rounds, 8 rounds, 4 rounds, whatever, whichever stage of devotional evolution we are, we should chant those. Unfortunately, persons who cannot accept this formula prefer to execute some type of pseudo meditation without accepting the process of austerity. So, of course, we are seeing great personality like Maharaj Prithu performing such austerities, but these austerities were performed in Satya Yuga, where the recommended process was something else. But in Kali Yuga, the recommended process is chanting the holy names of the Lord. But people will very happily perform so many austerities, but will not chant the holy names. Right? So this is the unfortunate situation of Kali Yuga. Prabhupada says here, the saintly personalities and the Supreme Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has instructed this in the Shikshashtakam prayers. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. All glories to Sri Krishna Sankirtana. What is Sri Krishna Sankirtana is just like the child goes to weekend batch of 2 hours each and gets all India rank 1 in JEE. Just imagine what kind of class that must be. Okay, पढ़ाई भी नहीं किया, पढ़ाई भी एकदम मजे में, rank is also the top rank. This is bhakti yoga compared to the processes of self-realization. Chanting, dancing, feasting, and the highest revelation of the Supreme Lord up to Golok Vrindavan. And therefore, Param Vijayate, all glories to this amazing process which is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhava Mahadava Agni Nirvapanam. Bhava is the samsara material world, Mahadava Agni. One is blazing in the fire of this material world, but it can nirvapanam, completely eradicate this fire. And therefore, Prabhupada says, it is necessary that one is always engaged in the service of the Lord. Satatam kirtayanto maam, tivrena bhakti yogena. Although Prithu Maharaja's execution of austerity is a long before, now Prabhupada focuses about Krishnam. The word here specifically comes Krishnam, Acharanam Tapamuttamam. Krishnam means, sometimes people think, Krishna is incarnation of Vishnu and Krishna has just come 5,000 years ago and, Krishna worship is very new. No. Prabhupada writes here that Prithu Maharaj comes in the dynasty of Dhruva Maharaj. And all these pastimes are happening in Satya Yuga. Why? Because Dhruva is ruling the planet for 36,000 years. Unless the span of life is 1 lakh year, how can Dhruva rule for 36,000 years? It is not a printing mistake. It is not some mythology. It is not some Puranatli Vangi, right? In Marathi, the derogatory words they use. No. Satya Yuga, the lifespan is 1 lakh years. Out of that, so so this entire pastime happened in Satya Yuga. Dhruva Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj appeared in Satya Yuga. And then what happened? And there Krishna is being worshipped. Later we will also see Maharaj Ambarish. He is also worshipping the Supreme Lord Krishna. So it is not that Krishna is the recent phenomena, right? Krishna is not 5,000 years old. Krishna is Bahunemi Vatitani Janmani Tavacharjuna Tanyam Veda Sarvani Nastvam Vetta Parantapa. That the Lord appears again and again, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya. And the personalities who are Tattvavit, who knows the Tattva very, very well, they will worship Lord Krishna, they will worship Lord Rama, Narasimha, their own Prandhan deity, even before the appearance of the deity. Right? So this is very important. Yeah, please continue.
Also of significance in this verse are the words Ariradhya issues Krishnam Acharat Tapa Uttamam. Maharaj Prithu underwent severe types of austerities for the express purpose of worshipping Krishna. Krishna is so kind, especially in this age, that he appears in the transcendental vibration of his holy name. As is said in the Narada Pancharatra, Aradhito yadi haris tapasa tapa tatah kim. If Krishna is worshipped, if he is the goal of advancement, there is no need for one to execute severe types of tapasya because one has already reached his destination. If after executing all types of tapasya, one cannot reach Krishna, all his tapasya has no value. For without Krishna, all austerity is simply wasted labor. Shrama eva hi kevalam. Bhagavatam 1.2.8. We should therefore not be discouraged just because we cannot go to the forest and practice severe austerities. Our life is so short that we must strictly adhere to the principles laid down by the Vaishnava Acharyas and peacefully execute Krishna consciousness. There is no need to become despondent. Narottam Das Thakur recommends Anande Balahari Bhaja Vrindavana Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Maja Majaya Mana. For a transcendental blissful life, chant the Hare Krishna mantra, come worship the holy place of Vrindavan, and always engage in the service of the Lord. So the spiritual master and of the Vaishnavas. This Krishna consciousness moment is therefore very safe and easy. We have only to execute the order of the Lord and fully surrender unto Him. We have only to execute the order of the spiritual master, preach Krishna consciousness, and follow in the path of the Vaishnavas. The spiritual master represents both Lord Krishna and the Vaishnavas. Therefore, by following the instructions of the spiritual master and by chanting Hare Krishna, everything will be all right.
Now, Srila Prabhupada explains that Krishna Acharan Tapa Uttamam, that the severe austerities for the process of, or the express purpose of worshipping the Supreme Lord. So these are the severe austerities are recommended to be performed. But in this age, Prabhupada writes here, Krishna is so kind that he appears in his holy name. And therefore, because Krishna has appeared in the holy name, he has given the process. He has appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, given the process of how to please him. And therefore, then why the tapasya is required? Right? Srila Prabhupada quotes here Narada Pancharatra, where Narada Muni says, Aradhito yadi hari. If you are worshipping Supreme Lord Hari, tapasa tatha kim? Tapasya ka kya jarut hai? Naradhito yadi hari. If you are not worshipping the Supreme Lord, tapasa tatha kim? What is the value of your tapasya? Antar bahir yadi hari. If you are inside out, hari, tapasa tatha kim? What is the use of tapasya? Nantar bahir yadi hari. After doing extreme tapasya, if you are not Krishna conscious, tapasa tatha kim? What is the use of tapasya? What this means is, that means devotee should not look forward some extraneous part of a tapasya, but should be simply happy performing our own regular tapasya of chanting 16 rounds, following 4 regulative principles, honoring prasadam and the basic, the sadhana, seva and siddhanta sadachar, right? Prabhupada writes here, when somebody is involved in some tapasya, there is some feeling of some purushartha, correct? मैंने ये किया, वो किया, this and that. And somebody is engaged in devotional service, life may appear very ordinary, very simple. वो क्या कर रहे हो आप? Simple तो just japa करते हो. Whatever we do, you also do, and you just simply chant some japa in between. But that is not the case. Why that is not the case? Because the process itself is so powerful. See, what is the meaning of the teacher? What is the meaning of the process? Teacher should make the teaching very joyful, right? Teacher should adjust the methodology of the teaching suitable to the level of the students, and joyfully the students should learn, and very happily they should reach the destination, right? This is exactly what is done in the process of devotional service. The process is very joyful. Susukham kartum avyayam, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. Very happy, positive process. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made it even more easy, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made the process as chanting, dancing, feasting. And then achirena tabakam, very quickly one will attain the result. And then one will attain the highest result. मतलब यार खेलते खेलते आप सैटरडे संडे आओ, जेई का प्रिपरेशन करो, गारंटीड ऑल इंडिया रैंक 1 to 10. Who will not join? And fees 0 rupees. आप क्लास में आओगे, हम ही आपको प्रसाद देंगे. Tell me, who will not join such a class? Right? This is the class of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he himself, when he was a teacher, and when he ran Chatushpati means the grammar school, Mahaprabhu was so famous for his teaching, what otherwise the big pandits used to teach the students in 12 years. Mahaprabhu used to teach his students in 3 months. Means, Mahaprabhu Institute of Technology, 3 months you are BTech in computer science, right? That was Mahaprabhu's teachings when he was teaching grammar and Sanskrit and all that. So, Prabhupada writes here, because one is not doing some extraordinary tapasya, that kuch to, some severe kind of a tapasya and developing some severe vikar in the body or so. Prabhupada says life is very short in Kali Yuga. If you go to, even if we do any of these three things, right? Forget surrounding by fire. If we just 1 hour also roam around in the hot sun, if 1 hour we are just, the drenched in the rains, 1 hour if we take a long bath, cold water bath, we will be sick for 10 days, right? So life is very short, life is very fragile, and therefore one should not look for these kind of austerities which are not going to lead anywhere because you are already a Krishna's devotee. And therefore, Prabhupada quotes it, Aradhito yadi hari tapasa tathakim. You are already worshipping the Supreme Lord. Excessive tapasya is not required. We have to follow tapasya in devotional service. Right. And therefore, Prabhupada says, there is no need to become despondent. Why Prabhupada writes this? Because, you know, sometimes a devotee may feel, I don't know, after practicing all this, what I have gained in my life. Because the advancement of a devotee is always concealed by the Supreme Lord. Right. So somebody say practicing some yoga sadhana and every day instead of chanting 2 hours of japa for last 25-30 years, he would have been doing some rising of kundalini and some this yoga, that yoga. He would have developed some yogic siddhi or some power or something may not. But the devotee may feel that what I am doing, right? And on the top of that, the Lord is so kind upon the devotee, Lord conceals the advancement of a devotee, right? But Prabhupada says, a devotee, there is no need to become despondent. And then Prabhupada quote says, Anande bolo hari bhaja vrindavan, Siguru Vaishnava pade majayaman. That a devotee is able to concentrate his mind on the lotus feet of the Lord and the spiritual master, that itself is greatest achievement for a devotee. This Krishna consciousness movement, therefore, is very safe and very easy, right? And therefore, Prabhupada writes in one place, one should not doubt the process. This process is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sometimes the process is so easy, people may feel that, milega kya nahi yahan se, Kali Yuga, see what happens Kali Yuga, when things are complicated, people feel, oh, he's doing something for, kuch to chal raha hai karke. But the irony of the Kali Yuga, the positive irony of the Kali Yuga is that the greatest things in any of the field, they are achieved by doing simplest possible things, right? Simplest thing. You don't have to just complicate your life. Spirituality, just chant Hare Krishna, just become ISKCON devotee. Chanting, dancing, feasting. High class philosophy. We have not seen a philosophy inch greater than the Krishna consciousness philosophy, the way it is, presented and discussed by Rupa Goswami and presented by Srila Prabhupada. Nothing beyond this exists. Simple thing, freely available. Similarly, in all walks of one's life, relationship, health, right, finance. So this is the paradox of Kali Yuga, is that the greatest things are available at a very simplest possible cost, but people don't want that. People want something extremely complicated. Some Baba is going to give some mantra for some 80,000 rupees, and that has to be secretly chanted sitting in some guha, and people will have. So this is the classic symptom of Kali Yuga. Next 8. Tena kramanusiddhena ध्वस्तकर्म मलाशयः प्राणायामै सनः निरुद्ध षट्वर्ग छिन्न बन्धनः. Translation.
Translation. By thus practicing severe austerities, Maharaj Prithu gradually became steadfast in spiritual life and completely free from all desires for fruitive activities. He also practiced breathing exercises to control his mind and senses. And by such control, he became completely free from all desires for fruitive activities. activity. Purport. The word pranayama is very important in this verse because the Hatha yogis and Ashtanga yogis practice pranayama but generally do not know the purpose behind it. The purpose of pranayama or mystic yoga is to stop the mind and senses from engaging in fruitive activities. The so-called yogis who practice in Western countries have no idea of this. The aim of pranayama is not to make the body strong and fit for working hard. The aim is worship of Krishna. In the previous verse, it was specifically mentioned that whatever austerity, pranayama, and mystic yoga practice Prithu Maharaj performed were performed for the sake of worshipping Krishna. Thus, Prithu Maharaj serves as a perfect example for yogis also. Whatever he did to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. The minds of those who are addicted to fruitive activity are always filled with unclean desires. Fruitive activities are symptomatic of our polluted desire to dominate material nature. As long as one continues to be subject to polluted desires, he has to accept one material body after another. So-called yogis without knowledge of real purpose of yoga practice it in order to keep the body fit. Thus, they engage themselves in fruitive activities, and thus they are bound by desire to accept another body. They are not aware means they are not aware that the ultimate goal of life is to approach Krishna. In order to save such yogis from wandering throughout the different species of life, the Shastras warn that in this age, such yogic practice is simply a waste of time. The only means the only means of elevation is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. King
Yeah, it's a
Prithu's
long purpose.
advice.
We'll do it in sections. By practicing severe austerities, tata krama anusiddhena, by kramashah, one after another, Prithu Maharaj gradually became steadfast in spiritual life. Completely free from the material desires for fruitive activities, we practiced pranayam to control mind and senses, and completely free finally became from all desires for fruitive activity. This is krama anusiddhena, right? So there is a krama, and this is the krama is being followed. How he is perfecting his yogic sadhana. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains the word pranayam is very important, and generally the pranayam is practiced by hatha yogis and ashtanga yogis. Even Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu writes, a devotee also should do some pranayam, some so that the body is stabilized, the mind becomes stable, and then the mind can be engaged in chanting the holy names. But generally, this Ashtanga yogis and the Hatha yogis, they do not know the purpose of pranayama. Generally, what people think is purpose of pranayama is to keep body fit. Keep body fit for what? Keep body fit for to work hard, party harder. Right? That is not the purpose of pranayama. Will body be the fit? Yes, body will be the fit. But the purpose of pranayama is to worship the Supreme Lord. And therefore, Prabhupada writes here, these were pranayam was practiced, mystic yoga was practiced by Prithu Maharaj, and thus Prithu Maharaj set an ideal example for yogis also. So all the Prithu Maharaj is one of the greatest of the devotee, but still he practiced the Hatha Yoga system just to be time appropriate because he was in Satya Yoga. And also, Hatha Yogis were also part of his praja, and therefore he wanted to set example in front of them. Right. Further, Srila Prabhupada explains the minds of those who are addicted to fruit activity are always filled with unclean desires. Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashanta. And therefore, they are constantly wandering after one activity after another activity. And their desires are reflected through their activities. Modern times, our desires are reflected through the websites that we visit. Simple, right? Activities has become now clicks. So whatever clicks or the reels that we watch, these are our desires. They are being reflected. And as long as one is subjected to the polluted desire, he has to accept material body one after another. And Prabhupada writes here, people in general are not aware of the ultimate goal of life is to approach the Supreme Lord Krishna. Nati vidu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. And therefore, such yogis, after even perfecting their life, they keep on wandering and just simply waste their time. And therefore, for devotees, the only means of elevation is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Why Srila Prabhupada writes this time and again is because sometimes, what reading about these austerities, reading about this and that may fascinate one. Oh, Prabhuji, he has done austerity, let me also do. Forgetting that the age is different, the place is different, the process is different, and therefore Prabhupada will be writing about the importance of chanting the holy name. Prithu Maharaj followed his process, which was appropriate to Satyuga, fitting to his position. Similarly, we have to follow our process, which is appropriate to Kali Yuga, fitting to our position, and that process is Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Gaura Bhaktavrinda ki jai. Thank you,
Jai.
Prabhupada. Thank you everyone. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Thank you.
Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much,
Prabhupada. Thank
Prabhuji.
you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Hare
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you both.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Guruji, another question.
Yes.
Prabhuji, Hare
Nandal
Krishna.
Guruji, in Ramayana also we see that Vibhishan was chanting the name of Lord Ram. So I mean, Lord had not reached Lanka that time. So is it very similar to what I mean, there was a purpose today that Lord Rama is also appearing in every millennium or something like that. How do we understand this Lord, Vibhishan chanting the name of Lord Rama before Lord Rama coming there?
Yeah, right. So, Vibhishan chanting the names of Lord Ram before Lord Ram appearing in Lanka. And yes, there are many sages who are, chanting Ramastuti much before even the appearance of the Ram in the womb of Kaushalya. Right. So, Lord Ram, Krishna, like we see our Damodar Ashtakam. Right. That is written by Satyavrat Muni, who is in Satyuga. Krishna is way beyond, is to appear in Kali Yuga later, much later. So these pastimes of Lord Ram, Krishna, Narasimha, these pastimes are eternal pastimes, and they are known to personalities. Just like even now, you and me, we know what is the name of next avatar, Kalki Yuga, what is the name of his father's name, his mother's name, the horse on which he will be sitting, the name of the horse, the name of the talwar of him, which place he will appear, Sambhal village in the Bihar, province of Bihar. So these things are already known in the scriptures, right? So similarly, Rama Leela is already known, and that's how Bibhishanji, he was in sync with Rama Leela. Right?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhupada.
Hare Hare.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare